It is our final show of 2025, but it is also our first show of 2026. As you can tell, I am dressed to impress, ready to go, especially the breathe right strip on my nose. But I am doing a late night show here. It is 11 p.m. as I am recording on New Year's Eve because I want to ring in the new year with you all. So, guys, it is showtime. It's not 6 p.m., but it is Wednesday night. It is 11 p.m., and we are live. And well, welcome everybody to New York Sports Wickermedia. I'm Watt2K99. Thank you as always for taking the time to join me for our weekly Wednesday night live extravaganza. And I am excited. This feels like an old step back in time. You know, when I started doing this Wednesday night live show, most of the time our time was 10 p.m. because I had such a crazy work schedule. Some nights I worked till 9 p.m. But then some things changed, was able to do a more normal schedule. But I thought, you know what? It's New Year's Eve. Let's just do it, kick it old style one time and do an 11 p.m. show. And let's do the show all the way into New Year's, into midnight. We'll do the countdown, all that good stuff. So, of course, I've got my hat on. We got the nice background going on. And I guess my drink sort of matches. It's kind of nice and gold like the balloons. I got a nice whiskey sour going on with a little bit of bullet bourbon in it. So it could be you can call it a bourbon sour. You can call it a whiskey sour. You can call it whatever you would like. But I am ready to go. And I will say this, we got a lot of sports to get into. Plenty of time we're going to spend on the Jets, talking about what's going on with the final week of the season. Going to talk about the coaching civil war that Jet fans are in right now. It seems like you are on one side or you are on the other side. It's almost like a political race. It is so divided at this point. So we got to address that. Of course, we've got Jets trivia a little bit later on tonight. I got a feeling we might spin the wheel. But remember, 15 likes gets the wheel or $15 in super chats. But we are celebrating, so I don't know. Maybe we'll do something a little bit special tonight. We'll see. All right, going to say a couple of quick hellos here in the chat before we get into everything. The first one here is the great David D, ready to take off. How you doing? Happy 2026, my friend. The great Danger Zone LFG. I know what's up. Check out Dane's channel, and if you haven't, you better be checking his channel out because he put some good content up there. The great Johnny Boy's here. Oh, my brother from another mother, still holding down the fort in Virginia. I hope you are feeling well, my friend. I hope you're recovering. I hope 2026 is a great, great year for you and your family, my friend. I will be back St. Patrick's weekend to do the Shamrock race, so I'll definitely be back in town in a couple of months, and hope I get to see you at that point. Dante Moore tomorrow, LFG. That's right. Oregon will be playing. Miami just took out Ohio State as we're recording. Man, I didn't see that one coming, but I can't say I exactly hate Miami being good in football again. You know, I can't really say that I mind that. Just growing up in the 80s and the early 90s, I mean, I've never been a huge college football fan, but Miami was just always cool. You know, you have to acknowledge Miami was cool. Retire 80. Hey, Eddie, how you doing? I know it's you, brother. I'm glad you're here. I am glad that you are here. Let's spin a wheel, though, close second. Well, I will tell you this. Okay, so both Danger and Johnny are big into Dante Moore. I have not watched a full college football game all year. Okay, not start to finish. I will be watching that game closely tomorrow. And I will say this. I did create a new wheel to determine what wheel we will be spinning. So we will do a wheel tonight, guys. Just my New Year's gift to you. And if you like to do a second wheel, then that is where your likes and your super chats will come in handy. All right. Okay. Before we get into the Jets, I got a few things to get up on my mind because I'll tell you what, I am one ticked off New York sports fan right now. This is a ticked off Watch UK99. So let's talk about what's on my mind with a little bit of 3 and out. Actually, before I do that, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. A little bit of a lemon flavor there to it, but yeah, nice and balanced. A little sweet, a little sour. Yeah, a little whiskey sour. I kind of like that. All right, first thing on my mind, hockey. The New York Rangers are on the verge of making the New York Jets almost look like a competent sports franchise. This has been a nightmare of a week for my Rangers. 3 straight losses, all to division opponents, the Islanders, the frickin' Hurricanes, and thankfully I saved my money and did not go to that game, and today giving up 6 goals to the Washington Capitals. Oh my goodness. Adam Fox came back today. Whatever. They still gave up 6 goals. They're not even watchable. I don't even want to watch this team. About the only hope right now for the Rangers is they win another draft lottery and draft this big prospect, Gavin McKenna. That's about as excited as I can get. And as for the New York Knicks, my gosh, they played the Spurs tonight in San Antonio, and they choked away. I'm going to use words like that a lot tonight. A 19-point lead. This is a bad, bad loss. Yeah, it's one game, but you know what? This reminded me of the Indiana disaster, Game 1, Eastern Conference Finals, about 6-7 months ago now. Same vibe. To blow a 19-point lead, especially when Wemby went out of the game with a knee injury. Now, the Knicks are still second place in the Eastern Conference behind Detroit, all well and good. And their first game, can you believe the Knicks have not played the Pistons yet? Yeah, January 5th, this coming Monday, is their first meeting of the season, and it will be in Detroit. That will be enormous. And as far as the New York Giants go, we're going to get into the Giants as the show goes on here. They beat the Raiders last week. Great. It was much more about the Raiders not showing up for that game. And now the Giants finished their season with the Cowboys on Sunday. But the big question is, there's 2. Who do they hire as head coach? And does Joe Shane, their general manager, have a say in that decision? Will he be involved? Because I'll tell you what, I don't want to be competing with the New York Giants to get a head coach. So we'll get into all of that in a little while. A couple other thoughts. We're gonna have a lively chat here today. I am feeling some energy from this chat tonight. It's gonna be just turned up a few extra notches. You guys always bring it, but I got a feeling you're gonna bring it just a little bit harder than you usually do, and I'm here for it. Johnny asks, is Anthony Rendon going to be a Met? No. No chance. No, I think the Angels just redid his contract, but my gosh, he's got a worse injury history than Elijah Vera Tucker. Rendon doesn't even get on the field anymore. No, Rendon, no. The only way Rendon would be a trade is if they take on a worse contract. I don't think there is a worse contract in baseball than Anthony Rendon. Injury after injury after injury. I mean, our number 7 LFG. Now I know Dane's going to be bringing it so hard you think he's rusty. Yeti, I'm here. I'll be listening, but Marcus Coleman, just in case I missed the trivia. Okay. That's cool, Yeti. David, yeah, he should be proud of his Islanders. He should be. It doesn't make sense, but you know what? They're actually playing well. I can't say I'm exactly worried about them breaking the 1983 jinx. I don't think that's going to be happening, but they are playing well. And, hey, enjoy it. Hey, if I got to pick the Islanders or the Devils to be good, I'll take the Islanders. I have no problem doing that. The great Scott Foster, Happy New Year to you, my friend. There we go. This won't last long. I do have one shot ready for midnight, though. So we will save that for later. And Dane says, Rusty Boner. Mm-hmm. Rusty has so many diamonds, and oh boy. I'd be surprised if Rusty doesn't show up at some point. But Rusty, if you happen to hear this, email me all the prospect names that you said, because Rusty, as you've been here, if you've been here during draft season when Rusty pops in, he'll throw out 8-9 names. But I am just doing so much in the midst of the chat, I just can't keep up with the man. You know, I love his energy. I appreciate his research, his knowledge, and all of that. But Rusty, you got to help me stay organized, brother. Okay, so let's briefly, I feel like I say this every week, briefly recap the disaster that was Game 16 when the Jets got just strafed by the New England Patriots 42-10. You might have noticed the Patriots had a stranglehold on this game early. Yeah. Yeah. A stranglehold. The Jets didn't choke like a lot of people who tend to be around Patriots players nowadays, both on and off the field. But the Patriots will finish the regular season. Congratulations. They'll either be the 1 or the 2 seed. And they're finishing this regular season with 1 win over a team that has a better than 500 record. The biggest cupcake schedule I've ever seen. But please go ahead and anoint Drake May. Please glaze over Mike Vrabel. On and on and on we go. But again, sometimes you just got to grab your competition by the throat and just choke the life out of it, apparently, if you're the New England Patriots, don't you? That seems to be what they're advocating for. But you look at the Jets roster. David knows what's up. Oh, we'll get into it. We're getting into it. Thank you, Jesus. 8 viewers, 8 likes. Wake up, Jet Nation. Wicker is top 5 easy. Thank you. I appreciate it. I know it is. I know it's a little bit late right now, but I mean, New Year's Eve has never been the biggest thing for me, so I don't know. I can't. The most memorable New Year's Eve I think I ever had in my life would have been my senior year of high school down in Orlando having a bonfire. Went to Disney that week with about 30, 40 people from church, from school, things like that. We had a big bonfire with sparkling cider and s'mores. That might have been the most memorable New Year's Eve that I have ever had that I can recall off the top of my head. So I don't know. This team deflates balls, dicks deflates lungs. Oh, come on. Dane, you're so funny. I can't get any air. Help me. Anyway, but you look at the Jets roster, and Samini gave me this stat. 18 of the 47 players who dressed for the Jets were not on the opening day 53-man roster. And that includes, of the 17 players who saw action on defense, 7 of those players were not on the opening day roster. But let's be honest, this game could have been way, way worse had the starters for the Patriots not gotten pulled in the third quarter. The 32-point margin of loss was actually kind. But I have to go through a couple of halftime stats just to show you how bad this game was. First downs, New England 23, Jets 3. Third downs, New England went 3 for 5, the Jets went 1 for 6. Fourth downs, the Patriots go 2 for 2, the Jets don't have any attempts. Total plays, New England has 42. The Jets have 20. Total yard. Hang on to your hats for this one. Hang on to your party hats for this one. Total yards. New England 344. The Jets 77. One of my bold predictions for the game was the Jets would have under 150 yards for the game. And they got a lot more, but a whole lot of it was in garbage time when the Patriots put in their third string defense. But they were on pace for about 150 yards through the first half. Yards per play, New England 8.2, the Jets 3.8. Passing yards, New England 229, the Jets 27. That's like 9 times as many. Rushing yards, New England 115. This is first half. 115, Jets 50. Red zone conversions, New England 4 for 4, the Jets 0 for 1. Penalties, New England 1 penalty for 5 yards, the Jets 3 for 38. That's actually one of their better halves of the season. And time of possession, New England 20 minutes and 17 seconds. The Jets a mere 9:43. Absolutely pathetic. Team at this point, I don't know what the most shocking thing was, that the Jets actually scored a touchdown. That might have been the most shocking thing that happened. And the stats been spread. The 107 negative point differential in the month of December that the Jets had is the worst in the history of the NFL, beating the 1960 Chicago Bears, who lost their final 2 games by a combined score of 78-0. Yes, this team has absolutely checked out. No question about it. They are deflated like a Tom Brady football. Barely even usable, clearly doctored, and should be illegal. But a couple things I will say about a couple of players in this game. Breece Hall, nice touchdown run. He hits the 1,000 yards running. Congratulations. That's nice. First Jet to do it since 2015 when Chris Ivory did it. That's also the last time the Jets were relevant, by the way. Oh, by the way, on one of those runs when Brees was running, he gets tackled by Leonard Taylor. Did you like that? Our old buddy Leonard Taylor taking him straight down to the ground and waving like he's the freaking Queen of England, waving to the MetLife Stadium crowd. You think that felt good? I have no idea why the Jets got rid of Leonard Taylor. It made no sense to me at all. Just so they could play Jay Tefele and sign Kalen Saunders and bring in Mozzie Smith in that trade. Please. You look at the defense, or what defense? Drake May, and I've dogged him. I admit I'm still not fully on the Drake May bandwagon, but he became the first quarterback in NFL history to complete 90% of his passes, 250 plus passing yards, and 5 touchdowns in one game. No one else had ever done that. But again, I look at some of the players that the Jets were playing. The Clarks. Every screw up, one of the Clarks is involved. There used to be many, many years ago. This group didn't make it big, but there used to be a country band out called the Clark Family Experience. It was like a country and bluegrass band. This is them right here, the Clark Family Experience. That's what we get with Jordan and Dean. And the other thing, you ever notice back in the day, when a team had 2 players that had the same last name, you'd always have the first initial on the back, right? Like L. Williams and T. Williams or whatever it would be. So it always distinct that, right? You'd always have the first initial. Not with these 2 stiffs. It's Clark and Clark on their back. Why? Because they are 2 interchangeable stiffs. They are horrific. Dean Clark, 3 missed tackles. 2 touchdowns allowed as the nearest defender. And then Jordan Clark, 5 catches allowed, 62 yards, 1 touchdown as the nearest defender. Can we stop bringing in Clarks? Dean Clark, Jordan Clark, Chuck Clark. Their dad, Ryan Clark, is a moron. No more Clarks, I say. No more Clarks ever again. Other than that, Jermaine Johnson had 1 nice run stop. Jamian Sherwood had a nice tackle. Enough said about the crappy defense. Enough. And one thing with special teams, Austin McNamara, if he didn't earn the team MVP already, he did now because he's a great passer. Oh, by the way, one other thing. I'm going to put myself back up on this one. What are the Jets thinking about with the second fake punt there? Right, like 3 plays after you successfully converted on a fake punt. I know it worked once, but why are you going back to that? If it's 4th and 3, try a play. Don't have a fake punt in that spot. Stevie Wonder could have seen that fake punt coming. Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. Just absolutely ridiculous that they try to do that. Unbelievable. Okay, we're going to do snap counts, but I want to do this a little bit differently. I'm not going to go this game to the previous game because what's the point? I want to make a point on how this roster has changed the way that it has and how difficult the job has been for these coaches. Another swig of whiskey sour for the working man and woman. There we go. Then stats for me. Yes, on beginner level. Absolutely. It was terrible. But again, when you're thrown against the freaking Clarks, Quantez Stiggers gets hurt, and you can't get a pass rush, half the quarterbacks in this league could have done that. So what I'm going to do is show you the snap counts position by position. But I want to compare this game against New England to what the snap count was in game 1 against Pittsburgh. And let's see what kind of a difference we have. All right, so the Jets had 62 snaps on offense in this game. Week 1 against Pittsburgh, it was Justin Fields, one of the only 2 times he actually looked really good. 64 snaps. This week, Brady Cook had all 62. Running back, week 1 against Pittsburgh, Breece Hall had 37 rushes. Braylon Allen had 20. Isaiah Davis had 8. Andrew Beck had 5. Week 17, Breece Hall with 30. Number 2 was Khalil Herbert with 13. Kenny Nwangwu with 11. Isaiah Davis had 8 before he got hurt. As we all know, Braylon Allen went out for the season. And, even though the Jets' running game has been a lot better than it was last year, losing him has taken a different element out of their offense that you just cannot replace with anybody else. Wide receiver. Okay, look at this. This is a good one. Garrett Wilson. First first week against Pittsburgh, 64 snaps. Josh Reynolds. Anybody remember Josh Reynolds? 62 snaps. Tyler Johnson, 33. Arian Smith, 6. That was it. Only 4 receivers. That's all they used. Week 17, A.D. Mitchell, 50. John Mechie, 47. Isaiah Williams, 43. The top 3 receivers didn't get a single snap for this team week 1. Tyler Johnson, 10. Arian Smith, 10 as well. Tight end, Mason Taylor, 56 snaps. Jeremy Rucker, 29. Taylor looks like he's probably not going to play in Buffalo and hasn't played in several weeks now. You had Jeremy Rucker getting 38. Jelani Woods, 22. Stone Smart, 16. So that position has changed drastically. Offensive line. Now, the health with the offensive line has been very good. Olu, Josh Myers, Joe Tippmann, Armand Membu played the entire game at first. For week 1, John Simpson missed 1 snap. Xavier Newman came in. Week 17, Olu, Josh Myers, Joe Tippmann, Armand Membu play the whole game again. This time, John Simpson goes down, 41 snaps for him. Then you throw in Newman with 21 snaps and Max Mitchell, who kind of carved out a role. I got to say, Max Mitchell was serviceable as a 6th offensive lineman. He got 6 snaps. Then we go to the defense. Oh, let's go through this just amazing defense. Okay, Jermaine Johnson, 50 snaps. Will McDonald, 31. Less than half the snaps in this. That was week 1. He was playing less than half the snaps. And most of us were, why? Why is he playing so little? Why is he getting 31 snaps and Michael Clemens is playing 30 snaps? Tyler Barron got 7 snaps. This week, JJ gets 41. Michael Clemens, 33. The just immortal Eric Watts plays 33. He's still chasing running backs in coverage. And Brain McGregor plays 26. Defensive tackle. Look at this one. Quinnen Williams starts off playing 43 snaps. We know where he is now. Harrison Phillips, 34. Jay Tafele, 17. And Juwan Briggs, a mere 12. Boy, has that changed. Juwan Briggs this week, 45 snaps. Harrison Phillips, 40. Peyton Page, the UDFA from Clemson, played 29. And Kalen Saunders played 29. Boy, has that room changed. Linebacker, Jamian Sherwood, 56. Quincy, 56. Marcelino McCreary Ball played 11. Kiko Malagoa played 7. And this week, Jamian played the whole game. Quincy Williams played 63 snaps. Michael Walker snuck in for 26 snaps. With Marcelino on IR, Kiko pretty much out for the season as well. Then a cornerback. Well, we know what happened here. Sauce played 56 snaps to start in the first game. Brandon Stevens played 56. Michael Carter, 37. Only 3 cornerbacks. That's all that Aaron Glenn and Steve Wilkes used. This week, Brandon Stevens, 63. Quantez Stiggers, 50. Jordan Clark, 36. Jasir Taylor, 13. Safety. Look at Andre Sisco. My gosh, 56 snaps. Tony Adams, 56. Malachi Moore played 1 snap. And this week, Malachi Moore, hey, he's a starter now. 66 snaps. Dean Clark played 66 as well. Think about this. I didn't even include players like A.Z. Thomas, Tony Adams, Jarvis Brownlee, Isaiah Oliver. You want to go deeper. Mark Robinson, Mozzie Smith. That's just on defense. On offense, we're leaving out Alan Lazard. We're leaving out Tyrod Taylor. Look at all the different players that they have had to use to finish out the season. That's my whole point here. Scott Foster says Arian Corley. Oof. Well, you know what? The first weeks are not far off. Although I will say, Arian Smith plays special teams a lot better than Malachi Corley ever did. Corley never did that. At least Smith can be a bit of a gunner on the punt team. That's about the biggest difference I see. Eagle Fang. Jets don't have a 400-yard wide receiver this year, and Garrett won't lead that stat. Has not caught a ball since mid-October. Pathetic. Absolutely. 100%. Yep, no question about it. And I don't even blame the receivers all that much. A lot of times I blame the quarterbacks. The Jets have a couple of useful receivers. You know, Mechie, Mitchell, Williams, that's something. That's a start of something. But you need Garrett back, and you need another receiver on the other side of him. And if Mitchell is your 3rd receiver, Mechie your 4th receiver, then if you want to use Isaiah Williams in certain spots, Arian Smith in certain spots, well, now you've got a wide receiver core to work with. Yeah, but you take out Garrett. That's why I said at the beginning of the year, the most indispensable Jet was Garrett Wilson. And we saw why. And again, if you want to blame somebody, blame Justin Fields for his inaccurate passes, because that's the whole reason why Justin Fields got hurt to begin with. He also wants to trade the best pieces for more picks before it's too late. Wilson, JJ, McDonald get the best offers and take. But then you're just trying to replace those players, man. They've already committed to Garrett Wilson, as they should have. If you want to trade either JJ or McDonald, then I'm fine with that. But, the Jets already need another edge rusher. Now you're really leaving yourself open because you still have to field a team next year. I can't keep kicking the ball down the road. But no, I'm not trading Garrett Wilson because what can you do on offense? What kind of passing game are the Jets going to have if they trade Garrett Wilson? I mean, you tell me how to replace Garrett Wilson. Do we want to take a chance on two rookies and pray that they're as good as Garrett? I'm just not interested in doing that. I'm not trading Garrett. I can't. No, even multiple number ones. I'd have to do it for like a top player and a number one. I don't have it in me to do that. I just don't do that. So, hey, we're done with them, and on the Pats go, owners of the easiest NFL schedule in the last 20 years. Oh, except hang on. You might have noticed earlier on when I was doing the game recap, I threw in a couple of digs. Yeah. You see what I did? A couple of digs? That's right. Because I talked about the Patriots having a stranglehold possibly on the number one seed if they win and Denver loses. And a few things that, it's so funny. I actually saw an article on ESPN a couple of days ago that are the Patriots actually likable? Are the Patriots actually likable? And then 48 hours later, look what's going on. Stephon Diggs and Christian Barmore. Thank you, Jesus. Let's go ahead and just break this down real quick. I just got to do this for my own, just to make myself feel a little bit better. I'm not happy the incidents happened, but if they did happen, let them happen to the New England Patriots. I'm not going to kid you. I can't kid you about that. So according to a police report on December 16th, a woman goes to the police and shared that she was working as a private chef on that date when Diggs entered her unlocked bedroom and smacked her across the face after they had discussed money owed to her. According to police, she said she attempted to push Diggs away when he allegedly tried to choke her with his elbow around her neck. He later threw her on the bed and said lies when she said she had not been paid. Receipts, folks, receipts. After the assault, or alleged assault, she left her position and the residence to stay with a friend. When the woman retrieved 3 days later to retrieve her property, Diggs referred her to his assistant, who told the woman she had to sign a non-disclosure agreement before she would be paid. She would not sign it per the report. So we'll see what happens there. But wait, that's not all. According to documents obtained by ABC in Boston, a woman who had been in a relationship with Christian Barmore, check this out, alleged that he became angry with her about the air conditioning temperature in his bedroom. 70 degrees versus 68. So they were fighting over 2 degrees in air conditioner. They had also argued over her eating food, debating if it was her food or his food. Bro, if she's eating it, it's her food. I've never been married, but there are a few things that I do know. At that point, once she's eating it, it's her food. Give it up. The woman told police Barmore grabbed her phone from her hands while she was trying to leave the house. The document stated the woman, quote, intended to open the door and scream for help, but Barmore grabbed her before she could and threw her to the floor. And he's a big boy, too. She said Barmore grabbed her by the shirt in the area of the neck as she tried to get up, but eventually let her go. Hey, Armand Membu apparently didn't mess with this punk hard enough. And Barmore's there saying that number 70, and he's trying to punk him out in a press conference. Hey, looks like Membu is in the right, last I checked. So, what can I say? The influence of Aaron Hernandez, it is not exactly out of Foxborough just yet. And again, right after a headline saying, are the Patriots now likable? How about it now? How about Drake May getting a DUI for New Year's Eve? Can we have that? Can we have that? Anyway, so, Again, only alleged. But yes, we wish Mr. Diggs and Mr. Barmore all the best in their legal endeavors. I think the NFL should do the right thing. I think all the games they played they want that they played this year. The Patriots should have to forfeit those wins now, shouldn't they? I think maybe losing a few draft picks, maybe throwing them out of the playoffs would only be appropriate now, wouldn't it? All right. I'm having a little bit too much fun with that, but hey, you got to give me a little bit of grace, right? You got to give me just a little bit of grace. Eagle thing. If the Jets were to trade Wilson, the trade offer has to blow my mind away like Gardner. It would have to be on that level. Like 2 first rounders, it would have to be on that level. It absolutely would. Because again, I mean, here's the thing. People had their debates over Sauce. Like most people realize Sauce is a very good cover corner, but you had your detractors because he didn't get interceptions. He didn't love to tackle. It's really hard to poke a lot of holes in Garrett Wilson's game. It really is. Like Garrett is universally liked from what I could tell. So giving him up, like with the attitude he brings, I mean that in a very positive way, it would be absolutely brutal for me to trade Garrett Wilson. It just would. You need playmakers in this league. Why would you get rid of your best one? In my mind. Drake May hates puppies confirmed. Drake May kicks dogs. Eagle fan, Gardner is a good top 10 player, but never the playmaker the Jets should have got when they were selecting him number 4. Yeah, that is true. Excellent in coverage. Absolutely amazing in coverage. But not a tackler and didn't get interceptions. Just never happened. And it's not happening in Indy either, last I checked. So, all right, guys. So let's get into Tankathon. All right. Oh, by the way, I do want to mention one other thing for next week's show. It will be our season-ending award show. I got a bunch of awards. I've already been planning out what awards I'm going to give and who I'm going to give them to. So, guys, break out your tuxes next week. If your girlfriends, your wives, have them put on a nice evening gown, have them show up. I'm sure they'll have a great time as we do our, I don't know if we have an official name, but our 2025 Jets Awards. That will be on next week's show. You'll definitely want to check that out. Yep, Gardner 1-7 with 2 teams in the same season. Didn't play some of those games, but yes, a combined 2-14. Raider-esque. All right, Tankathon. Same old Jets is right. The current standings look like this. Remember, the Jets can finish anywhere between number 2 and number 7. Right now, Vegas in the lead by themselves with a 2-14 record. They have clinched the strength of schedule advantage over the Jets. And the truth of the matter is, when it comes to their own first-round pick, it has nothing to do with strength of schedule anymore. The Jets can't pass anybody in SOS. They can't be passed by anybody in SOS. So to finish ahead of the Giants got to win and the Jets got to lose. It's really that simple. And I would not be surprised, by the way, if Buffalo pulled a few starters in their game this week. The Bills are confirmed to be a wild card. And I'm telling you, they're not going to go all out for the number 5 seed as opposed to the 6 seed or the 7 seed. Eagle fan, hopefully Dallas rests Dak. The vibe that I'm getting is he will play, but he will not play the whole game. That's pretty much what I'm expecting there. But Tennessee, 3-13, Arizona 3-13, Cleveland and Washington 4-12. So look at those. All of those teams could potentially pass the Jets if the Jets somehow beat Buffalo. Very, very important. So anywhere from 2 to 7. If there's a game where you want to root against the Jets, feel free to do it this Sunday. If you feel that if you were the fan who would do that, this is the week to do it. All right, so let's go to PFI, Pro Football Index. This is the last look that we are doing. So as we've been doing for the last, 3 months, it feels like the whole freaking season. Every week, ESPN does a simulation of the remainder of the season. They simulate it 10,000 times and figure out what the most likely scenario is. So looking at last week, they project the Jets to move up in draft position. Last week, it was projected at 4. This week, it is projected to be number 3. Unfortunately, they no longer have a chance to earn the number 1 pick, if you could call it earning, thanks to the Rams unbelievably losing that game to the Falcons. I could not believe the Rams lost that game. But the odds for a top 5 pick went up substantially from 81% to 92%. So very, very high chance the Jets will be in the top 5. I would dare say in the top 4. Eagle Fang, what is the percent chance the Jets got with getting the number 3 and the number 2 pick? I haven't seen a percentage for the individual. I might have it. Yeah, usually ESPN does the number 1, the number 5, and the number 10. Let me see if I can figure this one out. Yeah, I know there's like one thing here. Let me see. Yeah, let me see if they do this for the draft picks. Yeah, they just do number 1 pick or top 5 pick from what I see. So, but I have seen places where the Jets are projected to finish number 2. So there's a it's pretty much what you think about Giants Cowboys, because like you said, I can't imagine the Jets defeating the Bills. And again, I do expect the Bills to rest some players, but again, last game in Highmark Stadium or New Era Stadium or Ralph Wilson Stadium or Rich State, New Era Field, whatever they're calling it. They're bringing back all the alumni. This is the homecoming game for the Bills. Yeah, I really don't think that the Bills are going to lay down for the Jets, but I do think the Bills will rest a couple of players. That I strongly do suspect. So I don't think this is going to be the blowout that last week was against New England. Now, if you look at first overall pick, the Raiders have an 89.3% chance to secure that. They give the Giants a 10.7% chance. And then for average draft position, ESPN does put the Jets ahead of the Giants. They've got the Raiders finishing with an average draft position of 1.1, the Jets at 2.9, the Giants at 3.9, Tennessee at 4.2, and Arizona at 4.5. So they're giving slightly better odds to the Jets with all the simulations that they're doing. So I guess that means that they are expecting the Giants to beat Dallas, that they're expecting Dallas to rest a bunch of players. All right, on to the draft power ranking. So the Jets, what I can tell you is their ranking continues to climb. Obviously, they jumped this week from 4 to 3 for weeks now. It's been Jets 1, Browns 2, ever since the trade deadline. Now the Raiders have actually passed the Browns in terms of draft value, overall draft value. So it's Jets, Raiders, Browns. Then a long way after that, you have to go to Pittsburgh, then a bit of a longer distance to get to everybody else. So the Jets draft pick just seems to get better and better. And we will talk about the Colts draft pick as well. I know. Aaron Glenn said Brady Cook gives the Jets the best chance to win this Sunday against the Bills with Tyrod Taylor on the roster. I know. I don't think Aaron Glenn believes that to be true. I really don't. But, I mean, yeah, he could have just said, we want to evaluate. We just want to keep evaluating him. We just want to play our young players. I would have been fine with that. I wish we never traded the 3rd-round pick to the Raiders for Adams. That 3rd-round pick is not the Adams trade. That is the Hassan Reddick trade. So that is where that went. So this isn't Adams, I believe. I believe this is the Reddick trade that's coming up. Eagle, I'm getting there. Eagle, I'm getting there, brother. I'm getting there. Man, Eagle, you taking a little bit of Red Bull tonight? Oh, he's on a hot streak. Okay, remaining schedules, games to watch this weekend. So we don't have to worry anymore about Raiders Chiefs. That game does not matter anymore. You're looking at Giants versus Dallas, and we are rooting for Big Blue. Cheers. Of course, Jets at Buffalo. Tennessee will be at Jacksonville. Jacksonville has a lot to play for in that game. So I feel very confident Jacksonville will win. Arizona at the Rams. You think the Rams are pissed off? Oh my gosh. After the way they lost that game, the Rams got to get themselves right. Now, they're going to be a wild card team. We know that. But I don't think this is a situation where they're going to be sitting players. I think the Rams have been slipping a little bit the last 2 weeks, and they're going to use this game to get it right. So I think the Rams and Jacksonville are going to play hard, and that is good. Again, if the Jets lose, games 4 and 5 don't really matter, but I just feel obliged to mention those games anyway to us. All right, so as I said, to get to number 2, it takes a Giant win and a Jet loss. That game happens at 1 p.m. Okay, let's go on to the Colts draft pick. Here's where it gets a little bit crazy. Now, the Colts, despite losing all of these games, remain at the number 18 spot. That is their floor. They cannot fall any further than 18. But look at this. They are tied with 3 teams at 8-8. And here's what people haven't been mentioning, and I don't understand why. The Cowboys are 7-8-1. They are in the mix for this. Okay, so let's look at this. Because if Dallas wins, they beat the Giants. Now, I know we want the Giants to win for our sake, but if that doesn't happen, it could help the Jets with this other draft pick. Okay, because if Dallas wins, they go to 8-8-1. And if Indy loses, they're 8-9, and that gives Dallas a better winning percentage. And their draft pick goes after Indy's pick, which is coming to the Jets. So Indy could pass Dallas. So you got Dallas at the Giants at 1, then Detroit. They're at Chicago at 4 o'clock. Now, the Bears have clinched the NFC North. Okay? But they're either going to be the 2 seed or the 3 seed. My experience is the teams will go all out to win the division. They'll go all out to win the bye, but they're not really going to go all out just for a seed, to go from 6-5 or 3-2. Yes, it can give you a second home game in the playoffs. But I don't know if Chicago's going to go all out to win that game, especially after everything they just put into that game against San Francisco. How good was that 49ers-Bears game? Wow, my goodness, what a great game that was. Yeah, I wish the Bears had won. It would have helped the Jets SOS, but still, man, that game was so good. I'll be interested to see what the Bears do. Also, Minnesota is hosting Green Bay. That's also a 1 o'clock game. Now, Green Bay, they're locked into the number 7 seed. They have nothing to gain, nothing to lose. I expect them to rest quite a few players. And Minnesota, over the last 2 months, has been playing very, very well. They, as you can see right on your screen, they've won 4 straight games. I could see a very, very likely scenario where they win and make it to 9-8. You know, maybe there is something about finishing with a winning record. I don't know if that's something these players would care about, but I do think it would mean something to the Vikings to finish the season with 5 straight wins. Baltimore, as we know, at Pittsburgh, 8 p.m. If you're looking at the draft pick, either way, it'll be Baltimore or it'll be Pittsburgh in that spot, right? So we'll see what winds up happening as far as that goes. And then as far as Indianapolis goes, they are playing Houston, and that is a game that Houston could still use. They're currently a wild card team, but there is a shot they could still beat out Jacksonville for the AFC South. So I would expect Houston to play hard. And when you have a rookie quarterback in Riley Leonard playing for the Colts, going against the best defense in the NFL, it could be a very long day for young Riley. A very long day for young Riley and the Indianapolis offense. And as of late, the Indy defense hasn't been stopping anything. So I think there is a very good chance that this draft pick is going to move up a couple of spots. I don't want to give you a prediction where I think it's going to go, but I am saying don't be surprised if it moves up 1, maybe 2, even 3 spots. It is very, very possible. But those are the games to watch. So in the 1 o'clock window, Dallas at Giants, Minnesota hosting Green Bay, Houston against Indianapolis. Then at 4 o'clock, Detroit at Chicago. Then at 8 o'clock, Baltimore against Pittsburgh. So that's what we're looking at there. All right, let's go ahead and remove that. Need the Vikes, Ravens, Lions, and Cowboys to all win. Cowboys, Lions, Ravens. Right. Yep. And if the Giants beat the Cowboys, I'm not complaining. Right. Either way, no matter what happens in Giants Cowboys, it can help the Jets. Ideally, I would like to have the number 2 as opposed to the number 3. Because that pick is going to be more important. But would you rather go from 3-2 or from 18 to 14 if it can happen? Personally, I just want to move. I want to move up 3-2. I want to have that more valuable pick right up there. I really, really do. And yeah, go Houston, right? Yeah, go Houston for sure. When are the Jets signing Phillip Rivers? Hey, if he wants to be the quarterback coach, I'm more than happy to sign him for next season. He retired today? Really? I didn't see that. Let me see. I don't confirm second retirement. Yeah, confirm second retirement. Yeah, but we all knew that. We knew he wasn't coming back. Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much all there is as far as that goes. Okay, let's get into a little bit of news here. Well, I'll give you the, do I want to get into the injury? Yeah. Okay, I'll get into a couple of the injuries. A bunch of players did not practice today. Michael Clemens, Isaiah Davis, Brees Hall, Xavier Newman, Qantas Stiggers, Mason Taylor, Joe Tippmann. Nobody has been declared out as of yet. And like it was referred to in the chat, the news came down last weekend that Morgan Moses, this happened Sunday, Morgan Moses, the ex-Jet, now Patriot, the Jets were going to get a comp pick in the 7th round in 2026 for the Patriots, signing Moses away. Because Moses has hit certain playing time incentives, he has played over 90% of offensive plays, he just earned an extra $1.5 million. And remember, these comp picks are based off contract value. So this has made his contract that much more valuable. And now the expectation is that 7th round comp pick will now be elevated to a 5th round comp pick, which makes the Jets draft even more valuable than we ever knew it was going to be. You never know what might happen, but hey, the Jets did get some good news. Yeah, they lost out on the number 1 pick, but they moved up from 4 to 3, and they moved up in the comp round from 7 to 5. All right, we got 15 minutes till midnight. All right, fantastic. Eagle Fang. By the way, I see we got a bunch of people hanging out in the chat. Guys, please hit that like button. Feel free to drop a comment in the chat. If you have any thoughts on your mind, resolutions or anything like that, feel free to throw them down in there. It's an open forum. Hey, yeah, the floor is yours, guys. But Brees being hurt made me wonder if I should put money on the Jets getting under 30 yards of total offense. And if Isaiah Davis is hurt, who's the lead running back? Kene Nwangwu? Yeah, and we're going to get into the Bills in a little bit, and we're going to get to know them a little bit and talk about what they've been good at, what they've been bad at. And yeah, Brees Hall will definitely come into that conversation. All right, now I need to spend a minute here on Aaron Glenn. And some folks will agree with what I'm going to say. Some folks are going to disagree sharply, and that's okay. Let's all just keep in mind the whole point is we want this team to be as good as it can be long-term. And yes, I deliberately chose this picture, the one that says inspire change, because God knows we need some freaking change. So Albert Breer, who's honestly a bit of a Patriot bootlicker over the years, let's be honest. So he came out with a report today that said certain content creators basically ready to jump off the Brooklyn Bridge. Not going to mention anybody by name, but we know the ones. Here's what he said, and this is a quote. Here's the reality of the Jets situation. There has been no discussion at the upper reaches of the organization about moving on from Aaron Glenn after 1 year. And while some people would warn that Woody Johnson could quickly turn with another embarrassing Sunday at the office, I'd be pretty surprised if that happens, end quote. Here's what I would say. When the Jets traded Michael Carter, when they traded Quinnen Williams, and when they traded Sauce Gardner, we knew what they were doing. We knew this would be a tank job. And I came on that day and I said this. The Jets are going to go through hard short-term pain for the rest of the season to take on the opportunity to have a bigger period of growth, to raise their potential, to raise their ceiling. And part of that was hurting the team in the short term this year. It allowed them to get more draft capital. It allowed them to get more cap space. It was also ridding the team of players that did not fit into Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji's vision of what this team was going to be. So what did we think would happen when the Jets played the Patriots and the Patriots had something on the line? What did we think was going to happen? I expected the Jets to lose by 27. They lost by 32, and we know it could have been worse. And I absolutely understand the anger of the fan base. All right, I've been a Jet fan for 35 years, just over 35 years now. I get the anger. I'm angry too. But I think more than anything, it's built up frustration and a desperation to see instant results. You know, it's like if Pittsburgh had one bad year after all these playoff seasons, if they had a season like this, you know, I think most of their fan base, even though some of their fan base wants to fire Mike Tomlin, I think they'd be a little bit more understanding of it than Jet fans are, you know? Because it's 15 years of this. No playoffs, 10 years, no winning season, no division titles in 23 years, no home playoff games in 23 years. And I think Aaron Glenn gets the blame that he gets because there's so many people in this fan base who are so frustrated. I feel like the anger they've had towards Todd Bowles, Adam Gase, Robert Saleh, you know, players who haven't worked out, GMs who have worked out to different extents. they're just taking it all out on Aaron Glenn. Like, he is the bullseye. He is in their crosshairs right now because it's the convenient target. Yes, he's had awkward moments in pressers. Yes, he has said things that were just like, Aaron, you could have handled that one better. But he still has 4 years, over $40 million left on that contract. Woody likes Aaron Glenn. And with these trades that they made, it was with a long-term vision in mind. I don't think it's a good decision to allow those trades to get made only to get rid of the coach and then bring in a new coach who may have wanted those players to begin with. Glenn and Muji deserve a chance to get their players in here. They have the draft capital and they have the cap space. And here's the difference. People who want to make a comparison to New England, it's just ridiculous. It's like, well, New England fired Jared Mayo and they brought in Mike Vrabel. Here's the difference. Who's the Mike Vrabel that's out there? Are you that excited about Mike McCarthy? Are you that excited about Cliff Kingsbury? Are you that excited about Joe Brady? I'm not. Mike Vrabel, I was 100% in on. Would have made all the sense in the world. It's just the timing was garbage. And New England, they knew what they had to do. They were afraid of him going to the Jets. They acted, and they made a smart business decision. That's all there is. Because I'll tell you this, I don't want another first-time coordinator. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. And I don't want a defensive coach either. So Brian Flores, Anthony Weaver, Lou Anarumo, etc. Sorry, boys, this ain't the job for you. And I mentioned this during 3 and Out. Let's say a Mike Tomlin shakes loose. Let's say a John Harbaugh shakes loose. If one of them shakes loose, why wouldn't that coach go to the Giants? The Giants, we know, are looking for a head coach. And look over there. You've got a youthful core. You've got Jackson Dart. You know you have a quarterback. Scattaboo, Neighbors. You've got some pass rushers over there. You likely have a better draft pick, although the Jets' overall draft is stronger. And more than that, more than anything, who would you rather have as your owner? The Maras and the Tishes or Woody Johnson? That's the million-dollar question. I even had one friend who, huge Jets fan, but very opinionated. You know, sometimes I agree with him and sometimes I want to strangle him, just like I want to Stephon Diggs' ass, right? And he actually said, I would rather have Kyler Murray as my quarterback than Aaron Glenn as my head coach right now. It took all I could to not reach through the computer and Stephon Diggs him. I was like, really? Kyler Murray, a bad teammate, bad practice habits, has been an underachiever, a number one who never quite lived up to the hype, good athlete, but getting older now. His athleticism is not what it was. His prime is over, Kyler Murray. It's over. Does anybody, if you are the biggest Aaron Glenn hater out there, do you truly believe in your soul that we have seen the best of Aaron Glenn as a head coach? I don't. I don't feel that way. So I could see your argument. You know, it's like, what has the team done better under Aaron Glenn? Well, the running game has gotten a lot better. Special teams has gotten a lot better. Penalties have gotten a little bit better. I like the aggressive nature. He's been good with challenges, things of that nature. I think his in-game management, for the most part, has been pretty good. There have been a few mistakes here and there, but that is going to happen at times. I can understand that. But again, when you trade away your two best defensive players and you look at who's in the secondary, it didn't work. And they brought in a defensive coordinator who the process was right, the hire was wrong. Glenn has to bring in somebody who is philosophically aligned. Let's put it that, philosophically aligned with him. And if that's Jim Leonard, great. If that's Wink Martindale, great. Al Harris, great. Jim Schwartz, fantastic. Any of those guys, great. But we don't need the head coaching experience. We need a coach who's going to get the best out of these defensive players, because I will say this, when you have as many underachievers as I believe are on this defense, Quincy, Jamian, Will, Jermaine, those are the four in particular. Those are the four. I think that's on scheming. I think that's on coaching. And Chris Harris was not going to make a difference in 3 weeks. He just wasn't. So the defense needs to start over. I'm not going to be like certain WFAN hosts who want to be on, bro, I want to get rid of everybody but the safety, maybe the rookie quarterback Thomas, the defensive tackle Phillips Briggs. They're okay. They're okay, bro. They're okay, bro. You can keep them if you want. No, the best coaches get the most out of what they have to work with, and they come up with schemes and ideas to get the best out of their players. Yes, changes are needed. We're going to play stay or go. I think next week I'm going to do a stay or go segment. And Quincy Williams, I can tell you right now, he is a go, goodbye. Yeah, I'm about done with Quincy Williams. But, yeah, I don't see any reason this thing can't rebound. I really don't. And do we really think the Jets are not going to have an interception all of next season? It almost feels like by default they have to get better. David D says we need some banjo music. Oh boy. Well, we'll see. You know what? I think we can do that, but we'll do that at the right time. All right. I'll tell you what. We did do that. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. And we're going to quickly do 5 things to know about the Buffalo Bills. And then we're going to do the count. Then I think we'll have a countdown. Let's see. I want to make sure that I've got. I want to make sure I have the clock here on this computer, that I have the actual seconds. It's like world clock, right? Yep, there we go. Okay, so less than 4 minutes. All right, Game 17 preview. All right, so here we go. As I take one more sip of the whiskey sour, I think I'm just going to take this one down. Woo! Woo! Okay, there we go. I feel good now. All right, 5 things to know about the Bills real quick. Their final regular season game at the stadium. It's homecoming time. The alumni will all be there. Everybody from, I'm sure, Jim Kelly to Joe Ferguson. Hopefully O.J. Simpson's family will be there. We'll find out. Number 2, Bills are the best defense at stopping the pass and 4th worst at stopping the run. The way to beat the Bills is to run on them. So Brees better be healthy. Number 3, James Cook, 1,606 rushing yards. Eagle Fang has to go. Happy New Year, brother. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for your contributions. I appreciate it. Tops in the league, James Cook. Number 4, Josh Allen. Now, this is crazy. Josh Allen, he's getting sacked a lot this year. He is getting sacked on 7.3% of his dropbacks. That's the 9th most in the NFL. Last year, it was 2.6% of his dropbacks. That was the lowest in the NFL. So he is being sacked much, much more than he used to. And number 5, the Bills are second in time of possession, 32 minutes and 49 seconds on average. The Jets, I believe, are 29th by comparison. Remember how I said earlier in the Jet-Patriot game, the Patriots had the ball for over 20 minutes in the first half? So the Bills are very capable of doing the exact same thing. The Jets have to make sure that that doesn't happen. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and remove that. All right, so we're going to do the trivia in just one moment, but we've got the countdown, and we are down to 2 minutes. All right, I wish I could put the ticker on the screen, but there we go. So just an update on what's going on. Well, let's go ahead and just to get us in the mood for the countdown, because you got to be in the mood for the countdown. So let's do that right now. But how are we going to do that?
Storybox Audio.
Okay, there we go. Man, no matter how bad the Jets are, no matter how much they break your heart, that will always make you feel better. And we are down to 1 minute. 1 minute till 2026. It has been a crazy year for me. I can tell you that. The highs have been incredibly high and the lows have been incredibly low. But I am feeling good heading into 2026. New opportunities coming. Trying to do some different things. Let's put it that way. It's like if you're not growing, if you're not trying new things, if you're staying where you are, you're being sedentary, and that's not good. Always look for ways to grow, to get better. Whether that's physically, socially, spiritually, mentally, financially, whatever that looks like. All of that. Just always look to get just a little bit better in different spots. And it's not always easy to do, but we will try. Okay, guys, here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Woo! Let's play it again. Happy 2026.
Storybox
Wicker Pickers. Oh, by the way, just for everybody,
audio.
One shot of Fireball. Here's to a happy and healthy and prosperous 2026 for all of you. There we go. A little bit of Fireball just for dessert. David loves that banjo, doesn't he? All right, guys, let's go ahead. Let's do a quick like check. We're going to do trivia in just 1 second here. Just want to see how we're doing on the likes. I know it's a little bit late. I wasn't quite sure what the turnout would look like, but okay. Yeah, we're doing pretty well right now. All right. 11. Okay, great. All right, so let's go ahead and do what we do every single week, guys. Every week, you know what happens. I head down into the labyrinth of Jets knowledge. I bust open the books. I dust off the encyclopedias. I pull up the Jets dark web, and I, Watsu-K99, challenge you, the most loyal fans of the most loyal fan base in the National Frickin' Football League. Just how much do you know about your New York Jets? So if you are ready, let's play Jets trivia. All right, here we go. So as we know, I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock. This will be a Jets-Bills related question. So let's see how we do tonight. So your question tonight, I guess technically this is the first trivia of 2026. So let's get off to a good start. So let's do a little drum roll to get us ready. What running back who played for both the Jets and Bills has the most combined rushing touchdowns for the two franchises? So a running back who played for both the Jets and Bills, and between those two teams has the most rushing touchdowns combined. So if you add up the Jet touchdowns and the Bills touchdowns, who has the most? So what do we think, guys? So I'm going to be checking the chat. Let's see what you think the answer might be. It is running back. It can be a little difficult to think. What running backs play for both the Jets and the Bills, right? Sounds a little bit difficult. But I'm only looking for one name. All right, as we're waiting for the chat. And of course, we don't want to be Googling this. Don't want to be Googling that. Yeah, I think I can hear fireworks outside my window very faintly. So. All right, running backs who play for both the Jets and Bills and have the most combined rushing touchdowns. So obviously, it would not be Curtis Martin because Curtis Martin never played for the Bills. Wouldn't be Thurman Thomas because he didn't play for the Jets. All right, so we'll do the trivia, and I think we're going to probably call it a night. You're in fireworks too, Dave? Yeah, it's very, very faint. Yeah, I down here in Raleigh, it's the city of acorns, so they lower a giant acorn at midnight. But even I got to tell you guys, even when I was living in Central Time, as I did for about 20 years almost, even it was never quite New Year's Eve when it happened in Chicago. It's like when it drops in New York, it's 2026. That's it. It's over. So. All right. Let's just look to see if there's any guesses on this. I don't see anything just yet. I guess this was a pretty tough one. Yeah, after this, we'll start doing some more Jet-centric questions. We won't be doing opponent questions. All right. All right, guys. I'm just going to go ahead. Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and call this one. So the correct answer to the trivia question is Chris Ivory. Chris Ivory played for the Bills for a very short period of time. It wasn't Ty Johnson. It wasn't Ty Johnson. So Chris Ivory had 17 combined touchdowns, 16 with the Jets, and 1 with the Bills. So the correct answer is number 33, one of our all-time favorite running backs, Chris Ivory. So unfortunately, the chat did not get this particular question correct. All right, so next week we'll have to get off to a better start. Guys, we're going to go ahead and call this a night, but thank you so much for hanging with me. Again, happy 2026. Yeah, I didn't remember him playing until I did the research. Yeah, but after the Jets, he sort of drifted a little bit. All right, so have a great rest of your night, great rest of your week. I will be doing the confidence picks. That video will be up probably late Thursday. I'll put that one up, and I will do the Jets-Bills preview videos as well, so be on the lookout for those. Everybody, have a great rest of your night, and I will see you all right back here with more content from, well, you all know where it's from, right? The infamous place, the one, the only, the Wicker Chair. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks again.